You having a good weekend, brother?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's all right.
Good, good. Not too exciting. There's no additional snow, thankfully. I've freaking had it.
Thank God.
But yet again, it's 2026 and it's been a crazy news week.
Yeah, we can always, dude, at least because of the podcast, we keep it within a niche, but within that niche we can, or a niche, it's broad enough that we never should ever not have anything to talk about.
No, especially with how quickly things are developing now. It's a little insane.
That is fucking.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if this will be worthwhile, but I just saw Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes to Switch 2 on June 3rd. I have not played it yet, so maybe I'll pick it up for Switch.
You haven't played the second one?
No, I haven't.
You played the first one, right?
Oh yeah. I binged that one hardcore.
Yeah, that one just came out, and people are saying it's a very good port to Switch 2. So portability, and then throwing on the screen, then back to portability.
I mean, that looks like
handles
perfect timing
real good.
if I'm going to be on the couch with a newborn. All right. Ready to kick this one off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Good afternoon to all the gregarious Gormans getting over Groundhog Day. This is episode 48 of the Geeqoid podcast, and we are beginning our March to 50. 50 historic episodes coming later this month. Quite the achievement, if you ask me. I'm psyched about it. We're working on some special things to be coming with said episode, but stay tuned, and we're going to start teasing that out over the next few weeks. But in the meantime, we've got quite a bit to talk about. Do we want to talk about new consoles and the rumor mill that has been just working overtime in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so a spec sheet dropped for a PS6, which is interesting. So a week or so ago, Lisa, the CEO of AMD, dropped some information that was basically saying, yeah, all the AMD CPUs and GPUs for the next-gen consoles are ready to go. Just to support a 2027 launch. And here we are looking at the spec sheet, a 3-nanometer AMD Zen 6 with a number of cores at 4 gigahertz, AMD Radeon custom RDNA 5 GPU with 52 compute units, and about 34 to 40 teraflops. So hardware ray tracing acceleration 6 to 12 times faster than a PS5.
Wonder what that would be compared to the Pro.
Probably 5 to 10 or maybe 4 to 8, but still, I mean, it's blazingly fast, plus 30 gigs of GDDR7 unified RAM. So it sounds like they have the specs locked in. I mean, this is obviously not confirmed or official from PlayStation, but this is pretty exciting stuff. I mean, this is a really solid console, if you ask me. And if they're targeting 2027 and execute on that, that'll be pretty awesome.
That's the part. Let's see about that, because I don't see any of this really changing until 2028. What we keep researching and looking into. But if they can push this out 2027, I would be very impressed. I'll be honest, though, too. We're just now seeing some really great things coming out of PS5, and then really using the hardware that's in PS5 Pro. Even if this waits another year or two, I mean 2027, but even if this waited till 28, I don't think Sony's going to be in a bad spot.
Personally, I want it to wait. Honestly, like I'm still catching up on games, the new games that are coming out. We got Grand Theft.
Yeah.
GTA. We got GTA 6 coming later this year. That looks really incredible. That's definitely going to be pushing all the consoles to their limits. And there's just going to be a number of games that are really maximizing what the platform has to offer, and it's going to be like night and day from the first series of games that came out for these consoles.
Yeah, six ish. We're getting close ish to 7 years, which is becoming the longest. It's getting to be in that longest cycle. However, again, nobody has been really using what's been in PS5 and PS Pro. So yeah,
I mean, here's the thing: like
I don't mind waiting either.
the engine companies, Unreal and Unity, they're still putting out new updates that are pushing what is capable on the current hardware. And they're still going to continue doing that. Like Unreal 6 is still probably years away and will probably launch to coincide with new console release. And I don't think anybody's chomping at the bit for a new console at this point.
No.
I was just thinking about how the cycle time between consoles is increasing, yet the technology iteration cycle is becoming faster. So it's almost like the two are divergent, and it's a weird. I don't know if there's if there's something that we can point to in history that kind of like emulates this. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I
the
mean,
technology is progressing faster and faster, yet we're taking longer to put out a new platform.
the only thing I could compare it to would be when Nintendo and Sega were pumping out just game upon game upon game. They were also pumping out hardware, but it was happening at such a fast rate. Like every year, it seemed like there was something more advanced. And it seems to be happening again. I think the two things that I think people are looking at is, can we save money because it just keeps getting more expensive? And then can we shave this down from, 5 years used to be the norm. It seems to be more like, like Baldur's Gate was
Almost
talked
10.
about later, 10, yeah. And so can we shave it back down to 5? And then those things that were 5, can we shave them back down to 2 and get stuff out there? In the end, that's exactly what the consumers want. And if you can save some money on your end as a studio and developer, and then that's $60 and or $70, or that's another $70 and another $70. So they've got to be thinking that too.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what comes in the latter half of this year. Because, usually it's about a 1-year marketing cycle leading up to a launch. So I think they might, if they're going to launch at the end of 2027, I imagine they'll probably be announcing it in late this year or early next year.
Yeah, probably.
Nintendo is kind of the outlier in terms of their marketing cycles.
Yeah, they always have been. They're very much almost like, and I've said it, like an Apple. They'll put it out there when they want you to know.
Yeah, they hardcore want to control the narrative, whereas Microsoft and Sony, I think, are much more comfortable farming organic attention through secondary, third party promoters.
And Microsoft have other things that they're developing and working on outside of games, and same for Sony. Sony has many more revenue cycle or revenue streams than just the PlayStation and their video game area. So
yeah,
they probably don't need to control the narrative like Apple does and Nintendo does, who is has a broad road to travel on, but it doesn't fork out like those two other companies do.
So stay tuned. This could be the spec sheet for the PS6, or it could be completely derailed and they could go back to the drawing board because of the way the AI data center push is just cannibalizing all the RAM in the universe. So,
though, from this spec rumor, this looks pretty legit. It's probably going to be extremely close to what this is.
Yeah. It's a solid spec sheet, so I'm excited. moving right along, I think we should talk about a property that is near and dear to our hearts and has been for quite some time, and that is the World of Warcraft and their latest Midnight expansion. They've been doing a lot of press tours, really starting to get the hype cycle going. They're introducing housing for the first time in, I don't know, ever, obviously. But it sounds like this is one of those features that they've been working on for years and multiple expansions to make sure they get it right. So what have you been seeing?
I've been watching videos from either other people crafting it because the beta came out a couple months ago, and then Blizzard has been throwing out some stuff on their YouTube channel within the last week or so. It looks really neat, and already the people who are creating things within their framework are even blowing Blizzard's minds as to what people are able to think up in their head, imagine, and then craft in some very interesting, unique ways. I think I talked about how somebody wanted a baby grand piano in their living room. And it's not something that's in WoW or something that they developed as code, as some item you can put in there. But people have figured out a way to cobble together bits of wood or other items to then make a grand piano with a bench that then you can sit at. And so that's already giving more ideas for Blizzard to, okay, how can we, because you have to tear it, if you want to move it, you're like, oh, this was not a good spot. You have to tear it all apart and then recobble it back together. And so Blizzard's already coming up with like, well, what if we can do a copy and paste? Or what if...
but if you can group these items that you've placed into a single fab and then move it around.
And then move it around.
Yeah.
How do you share and then share this idea with then other people? So they're already hot on the heels of what people are creating. A lot of people love these floating houses and you have to use a teleport to get into the house or whatever. Blizzard's like, oh, that's a really cool idea. Shoot, how do we help with this? One of the things I love that they haven't done yet, and they're actively already working on it right now, is you have all these different mounts, dragons and horses and, giant dire wolves and cats and whatever. Well, how do you have like a little stable or whatever? How do you have all of these pets from 30 years? How do you have them lounging in your house? They've already started it with one, like a kind of a beagle looking dog, because of a lot of the issues that hit, especially Southern California with the floods and the fires. So they're partnering with Habitat for Humanity. And when you buy this dog that has a little construction hat and has this little hammer in his mouth, it will go it'll go to Habitat for Humanity so they can start rebuilding some of these homes that have been lost. And the dog has like a little dog bed, and you can situate it next to a fireplace that you created, and the dog will do its little turnaround and then lay down in the dog bed. And so they're like, okay, we need to expand on this. How do we have little purple panther cats and, whatever. But it's blowing up with this next generation of younger audiences who have a totally different mindset than we did, 30, 20 years ago. And then also older audiences who are working, 40 plus hour jobs, and now they own homes and they have bills where, before they were in college or high school or whatever. And how do you keep this audience who still wants to play and still be a part of that community in that world? These parents who were a great story I heard was from the studio heads themselves being like, we have kids and we want to play with our, I don't know, 5, but like they're younger kids. How do you do that that's also casual and still just as fun and have these new memories, but now with your family? So I think the next roadmap um, looks very appealing to me. And I think the next 5, I was just say 10, but I'd say the next 5 years, you're going to see, I think, an uptick in WoW, but it's going to be for a whole new and different playground for them to experience and for Blizzard to be a part of. I mean, they're
Yeah.
doing constant updates at this point. They've been doing it for the last 2 expansions, I believe, but now they do patch notes every 8 weeks, where it used to be 6 months. And then you would get an expansion, whatever, like another year. And they've amped it up and kept it more affordable for them to be able to do this. And so it doesn't feel dry. It doesn't feel kind of dead on the vine. It feels like it's always continuously growing and being something that can constantly be engaging and interesting for audiences.
Yeah, and I think it's nice too. Like they're doing all these new developments with a focus on how the demographic is changing, but they've also brought Chris Metzen back to kind of helm the storytelling, which I know a lot of people are super excited about. I'm personally excited, huge fan, and it's going to be like a second or third golden age, I think, for World of Warcraft,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it the more we talk about it, the more I think about what what we've been missing in the games industry as a whole. And I think that's really evaluating the way the demographic has shifted, the way the purchasing dollars are skewing. Like you have me, you, people in their 40s, 50s, heck, even approaching retirement that are sitting on a considerable amount of disposable income. And like you're not going to nickel and dime these people because they don't have the time to play the games that kind of warrants it, like the Call of Duty treadmills and the season stuff. So I'm wondering if there's a business model that still has yet to be figured out that really caters to people who don't have as much time but have the disposable income. And I'm not talking like, oh, skip
Sure.
this many rungs on the ladder for this season nonsense. I'm thinking something more encompassing. I need to spend some time to let this idea marinate, but I think there's a business model here that needs to be explored for this new growing subset of players.
Yeah, and I don't think this would even be in the forefront of what we're thinking now, if not for us stumbling onto Blizzard and then watching and listening to the interviews that we have over the last few days. I find it not only fascinating, it's rejuvenating, it's invigorating. You brought up something. This is going to be the first game that I can think of where people have been playing for 30 years, and you nailed it. When they hit retirement, or I think they said it in one of the interviews, when they go to a senior home, are we going to have another demographic? But that demographic has been with us for, at that point, 40 years, 50 years. And they were even thinking of themselves. You know, some of them are in their 30s and 40s, but the VP is a bit older than that. And she wants to keep playing. This is going to be, this is definitely a game in a studio that we've loved Blizzard for years. It's one of our favorites. But them looking at this in such a broader view, Metzen has even mentioned it because he's gotten older, and looking at his stories and how this game has evolved with the audiences. And I think it's a bigger push now.
Well, I think that's another thing that I've mentioned in our conversations is that I'm a huge fan of the World of Warcraft lore, but I feel like I've been
me too, dude. So
out of
much.
it for so long, and to get caught back up, it's like I don't want to play 200 hours of a treadmill grinding MMO to enjoy the lore. So how can I, as someone who has that disposable income, like get into it? And
So they've added a lot that you and I have missed that if anyone else who has been playing WoW for the last even 2 to 5 years would know, some of those life changes have happened. So you can level up a lot faster. They've now changed the icons over people's heads. Normally it'd be a question mark or explanation or whatever. And now they've even changed the iconography so that, you know, if you want to follow that story, not hit all the side quests. Those side quests sometimes have good stories that add to it. But if you don't have the time, don't want to collect 10 of this and 50 of that and whatever, and then wait for a, respawn of mobs, they've simplified that quite a bit. Even to, like, I don't have time to play and learn even the hotkeys of all of my different skills. They've, like, put in basically their own version of, well, it's add-ons, but now it's very much baked into the system. Add-ons that you and I would have been adding, 10, 15 years ago or whatever it was, 2000.
I remember when I got a new computer and I was setting up my machine. I installed the WoW client, and it's like, yeah, here's the half dozen add-ons that I have to go install and configure, and it was a huge pain in the ass.
And anytime there was a patch or an update or an expansion, you would have to go and remove that because it might bug out the system. Go find somebody who was fast, or they're like, I'm still working on it, and you'd have to wait a week or whatever. So, Blizzard now adding these kinds of these great life things to also a new generation and to older generations to get in there, still be in the world, still follow the storyline, still be a part of it. Oh, even this. I was never a part of raids. I wasn't a fan. It probably was my anxiety and me being more introvert than I seem to a lot of people.
Led a few back in the day, believe it or not.
Wow, that's really cool, dude. So I tried very hard not to. And so then I moved more into the PvP route, battlegrounds, and, beating up other people. And I loved it. That's my favorite. And then going to help other people as they were questing through the main story. Those are my two favorite types of things to do. And they've made it now that you can go into dungeons, which are called delves. That's pretty brand new. And you could do solo, and it'll give you an NPC. Does the bot do a great job? No, you still need to really handhold and do it, or level up and get some better gear. But it's something that's a lot easier and faster. That if it was you, me, and your brother and my brother, and it's like, okay, we've got 30 minutes, like not a lot, or I'm doing this while I'm cooking, and at least this is simmering or it's in the oven, whatever. And they've made it much more possible for people who didn't want to do 20 and 40, 50, 60, whatever man raids.
Well, I mean, you think about how ridiculous, like, you have to clear your schedule, because to do some of those high-end raids, you'd need, like you said, 30 plus people. You would need to block out 4 or 5 hours. And
yeah, dude, I forgot about that too. So long.
Even getting people to start the raid would take about an hour. And and here's the thing. This is not a World of Warcraft exclusive issue. Like, I remember this in EVE Online and Destiny and Destiny 2 when I was doing raiding in all those games. Like, it was a huge pain, like a logistical nightmare. But I mean, here's the thing. they want to make the high-end rewards of these dungeons
accessible.
Well, I was going to say they want to make it worth the grind, and so that's like if it was easy to execute, then everybody would do it. So
right,
it's a fine line how you balance it all.
And I said earlier, accessibility. They're making it more accessible for more audiences instead of, hey, this is the road we're taking. It's going to be high risk, high reward. They are not. It's still there. Absolutely there. If you want to do a big whatever raid and it takes 4 or 5 hours, you can do that. They're just giving you more options. If you're also this kind of person that only has 30 minutes or it's a dungeon, it's probably going to take an hour or whatever, or an hour and a half. Like, you can shave that time out and plan it out better with a smaller group. If it's your group, than with a huge group and 2 or 3 guilds or whatever the fuck it is. I like it. They are even adding another part. I think they call it, they have Prey. I think Prey is interesting. It's a totally new mechanic where you either toggle this or you accept it and you are prey, like predator prey. And there is an NPC out there that is hunting you while you are doing the storyline. And then that predator, I love it so much because I love the last movie. So this predator is out there within also the storyline, and then it jumps out boogeyman style and comes after you. That's not what I wanted to talk about, but it hit my head. The one
that sounds fun AF.
Yeah, because there's a lot. You can't do PvP still until you hit your pretty high levels, and so this adds this kind of intensity and this you're still looking around corners, or if you're in a forest, you're looking around all of these beautiful trees that have all been remastered and re-engineered. Everything looks way prettier, by the way. No, there's another part within the Delve system that they're going to introduce, I think in Midnight expansion, where it's a big dungeon, but you can piece it out. It's in sections within the code. So you go in and you can do this part. And if you do it, then basically you've saved. You did level 1. And then you can go into these other branching pieces of the dungeon, other rooms, whatever it is, because they're going to change it up depending on what imagination they have and the story they want to tell. And you can do that instead of also, like we said, if you do a big raid, you are starting from whatever the base of the tower is, and you are spiraling up, and you don't stop. And you go through 5 different sections to then get to the big bad. And so they're also making delves. I'm really into the delves, if you guys haven't figured that out.
What?
But you can then piece it out, and basically it's a save mode. So you saved it, and you don't have to, if you die, respawn back at the beginning and then have to do the whole goddamn thing over again. So again, making it more accessible for audiences, even me, when in my 20s, I did not want to do 5 hours because we all wipe. I gotta start it all over again? Crap, I hate that.
Oh yeah.
This is a nice, cool, I think it's a really cool balance within an MMO space that still gives you that thrill. You get the loot, you get the storyline, but you can piece it out more. You and I, with kids and families and dogs and house and all that, we can't do that. But I bet you money, you and I could do a Saturday afternoon, do 1 level, and then maybe if we're lucky, do a second, part of the dungeon, and then bounce out and do what we have to do with family and work.
Yeah. So I think we need to wrap up World of Warcraft, but I will call out one game I'm excited for coming out next month is Marathon, and they've been pretty tight-lipped about how a lot of the game mechanics work. So I'm curious to see how they handle these type of raids and kind of grouping mechanics.
Yeah, one of the reasons I liked Overwatch was usually a fight or a match was 15 to 30 minutes. So, maybe 20
Yeah,
know.
but in Destiny 2, you had the similar style raise that you have in WoW, where it takes a crew of 5 to 15, 20 people. I can't remember exactly, but you'd have to spend a few hours. And I was there, Destiny 2 launch night, and grinding with my guild and really putting in the time and kind of going through those raid dungeons, wiping, trying again.
Yeah.
It was fun in its own way. So I'm curious to see what they do differently. But TBD on that. I think we should keep on moving. A new property, or not a new property, but a new game from a well-known property, Resident Evil 9, is coming out later this month. Like,
It's other than GTA, it's so like excited, or everybody is so excited for this game.
yeah, I mean, everything that we've seen so far from the trailers just looks like a really solid return to form, really visceral experience.
Yeah, how
It's
many
just
games
super
can you name at the top of your head that is action, survival, and horror? Usually you hear a genre of a game and it's an action game, it's a survival game, it's a horror game. It's really interesting that constantly, especially the last week, it is an action survival horror game. What? It's
I mean, it's becoming more and more popular. I think you have The Last of Us, which fits that description. Resident Evil. There's
7 and 8 would have been more survival horror than action, but there were action elements for sure. But this is really, people are really gravitating to that action side of the survival horror when they are describing this game. And that intrigues me a lot because I like the action part. It's part of my fun. Blowing things away and then being like, let's go.
Yeah. So I haven't picked up a Resident Evil game in quite some time, but
I know, yeah, same.
I'm pretty bullish on this one. It really is tickling that itch that I haven't kind of scratched in quite some time. So I'm probably going to pick it up.
Yeah, and even for Capcom too, like it's putting an old spin onto something new, which is Raccoon City. They haven't touched Raccoon City in quite a few years.
Yeah,
and going
which
back,
I think is what I'm really excited about, is the return to Raccoon City, combined with also the future movie on the horizon as well later this year.
Yes, yeah, which they have been tight-lipped about that as well.
Yeah, so we shall see. Do you want to go back to the rumor mill and talk about Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah, because I'm really excited about this. if any of this comes to light, like real life comes to life, I'm really excited, and I'm the most curious, especially with this Baldur's Gate 3 sequel that is going to be on HBO. So lots of money. Yeah.
So let me. You said a Baldur's Gate 3 sequel. So like a sequel being, this is going to be a live action show, but it's going to be a sequel to the story of Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes. This will follow the, what was it, like
The
5
events.
to 7, the 5 to 7 different characters or whatever. It will follow the events after the end credits of the 200, 300, 1,000 hours, however many hours you put into that game. Yes. That's crazy, dude.
So allegedly, it will be coming to HBO in 2028. So quite some time from now. But you know what? It sounds like, maybe I'll let you take it from here, but Larian Studios, the group behind Baldur's Gate 3, it sounds like they came up with the story and the characters, obviously. And they've given some creative freedom to a well-known show leader who you probably have heard of.
Yeah, Craig Metzen. I probably said
not to be confused with Chris Metzen.
Chris Metzen.
I was reading through the show notes and I was like, wait a second.
Mazin. I said it wrong. Not M-E-T, M-A-Z. Mazin. So he co-created Last of Us Season 1 and Season 2, which is also, I forgot to add in the show notes, it was the first video game adaptation that won any awards ever.
What? Really?
Yes. If you're not including like MCU, movies and whatever, because Infinity War and Endgame totally did it.
Yeah.
But this is a video game property IP that won awards.
But you're not including the worst movie ever made awards in that, right?
Yes, I am, or no, whatever. I am not. So he also, I've never watched it, but a lot of people had very, very high positive things to say about Chernobyl. And
my gosh, I watched it one weekend. I was in Ohio peddling my wares, and I got to say, it was really, really good. It kept you on the edge of your seat, and the fact that it was mostly true to history, and it was so good.
And a lot of people compare, like if you watch The Last of Us and then you watch Chernobyl, there are a lot of like similarities in how he co-created both the series and that dystopian and the people, and not dystopian because Chernobyl unfortunately was true, but
yeah,
you see the similarities.
Here's the thing: there is something that you can tie across all of these properties, whether they be fact or fiction, and it's the human struggle, and it's the emotion that goes into how these individuals deal with the situations. And it doesn't matter if you're dealing with a nuclear meltdown crisis or a zombie apocalypse. Like people are people. And that's the through line through all of this. And I think Craig he's nailed it. And that's why I'm super excited to see him helming this show. Potentially.
Yeah, so he'll be writing, developing, and then he'll be executive producing the series. So not directing, but I don't think he directed any of Last of Us and Chernobyl. But he had his hands into who and what for each of the episodes. So yeah, this is interesting. The one caveat that I have about this is you had a team at Larian Studios who Hasbro gave, the contract to and the rights to develop the story and the characters and the look and feel along, with Hasbro. Obviously, had to have been there to help guide the development. But the stories are from Larian Studios. There's been rumors that Craig Mazin has reached out to Larian Studios, hopefully to gain some insight. And he has been touted as stating he's put in like 1,000+ hours into Baldur's Gate 3, which is a whole lot of time.
That's a lot of hours.
So I hope that there is more back and forth between Larian Studios and Craig, as he is crafting this storyline after like 8 to 10 years that it took Larian to create this world, and then how you interact in it, like a pure D&D game, but in this beautiful video game package.
Yeah. So I'm super pumped at the prospect of this. I'm not going to get over hypey at the moment, just because I know some things they just fizzle and they don't materialize. Yeah. But
it was worth at least talking about. It's a cool hype rumor thing that may not happen, but this is a neat idea.
Absolutely. One thing that is definitely happening is the Warhammer show, and we've gotten some news that Henry Cavill is putting in overtime. So when the writer room closes at the end of the day, apparently Henry has been sticking around till like 2:00, 4:00 in the morning, rewriting individual lines of dialogue to make sure that the Warhammer show is true to form. Like, this guy is keeping the sacred tomes of Warhammer alive and well. You know
He's
what?
hardcore, man. He did the same thing in Witcher. We talked about that. Like, you're gonna change the story. I gotta go. I'm sorry. Go get one of the Hemsworth boys.
Hats off to Henry Cavill. Like, if man, if I were to work with anybody in Hollywood, I think it'd be him.
It'd be him and Joe. If I could work with Henry and Joe and put them both in a TV series or movie together.
Joe who?
Mangalello.
It's like,
Mangalello. I can't say his last name.
It's like, I don't know a Joe Cavill.
No, but he's hardcore, like action, nerd with a huge D&D pedigree. So he could flow into any of these other like nerd IPs so easily.
Yeah. So super excited for any upcoming Warhammer news. I mean, it's not a property that I was super invested in. I am familiar with. I know a lot of people who do play it on the regular and do craft their own custom figures. Shout out to Blake if you're listening.
Also, yeah. Shout out to Evan, Andrew, William, my 3 brothers-in-laws who that's all they do every Christmas is they just buy each other models and paint. It's very expensive, and they are like, here's new cards, and okay, when are we playing? It's like, well, I gotta paint it first. All right, well, we'll see each other next year when we buy, each other new model sets. God damn.
Yeah.
I like the lore. It's similar to, D&D. Like, I wasn't a big D&D guy, but I loved reading the lore or the monster manuals or any of this other stuff in Nine Hells and Lilith and, the Drow and whatever. The same thing for World of Warcraft, though I did play and I still love to play. And Hearthstone is about the closest I have time for. But it sounds like new WoW retail might give me a new chance to do that. And then Warhammer is another one. Like, I haven't played any of the video games, or I almost bought a couple of the board games. Tactical. They had some board game, tactical games that looked really cool and had that same feel. But I have followed up on their lore, different chapters and this and that. And it's very fascinating. It's very dark. But it's really fascinating stuff.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I played quite a few of the RTS games, and like, we're going back a decade, I think, now at this point, but there was just a ton of fun. Like, and the mechanics were really polished and really solid. And the lore, like you said, it's just, it's one of those things that I'm excited for a show, because I haven't been able to spend the time to dig into it. But if I know Henry is putting in the time and he's going to introduce me to the world of Warhammer, like, I will be there ready.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Henry really nails it and adds that cherry on the cake. Cause I think even if it was crap like Halo, which I loved, not a lot of people loved it. It was some bad acting, but the story and the sets really kept me coming back. I enjoyed it. Was not great. Me too. I would love for them to. It's not going to happen, but I'd love for them to do something. Because again, that story and that lore, especially in video games and board games, like, you craft something that's so like complicated, and you have all these years, it becomes something that blows away, don't hate me, certain people, but Tolkien and Martin, and like, it's way bigger of a scope. So yeah. Also, I thought about this just now. Katie made a joke about, like, a reality check going, do you notice the most popular movies and TV shows are something that is dystopian, whatever, post-apocalyptic or dystopian, Fallout and Bridesmaids or not Bridesmaids, Handmaids and Last of Us. And she was like, even Invasion, to some degree, it's like, oh, the world's about to end, or it's ended. And, what is this new structure? Hunger Games. She was really, because we're re-marathoning that. And I went, you're totally right. And That's poopy. But it gives that intense. And then, like you said, you really have to focus then on the people and how they are trying to keep, I think, for especially a lot of those shows, like, how are they keeping their humanity? How are they keeping hope and positiveness in such a bleak, horrible experience? And then it adds to, it's easy for people to write intense, messed up moments.
Oh yeah, I mean it really comes
Walking
down
Dead. Sorry, that was
to
another one I thought of.
oh so good. How can you push people to the edge of their humanity and see if they break, if they go past it, how they respond? And you know what? It we are here on recording February 8th, and I'm going to take a left turn here because in the Epstein files that were released, apparently they were planning World War III to start on February 8th. So,
Oh, good.
so we'll see if that actually comes to fruition by the time this is published. But it's a crazy world, and I feel like a lot of times it feels like our reality is hanging on a knife's edge. And, you know, I think that's why people gravitate towards this post-apocalyptic end of times narrative and situations is because they kind of think about what maybe would be doing in said situations. But I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole because you know what? A lot of people play Dota and League of Legends and fantasy related content that has nothing to do with the end of times. So you know what? I'm pretty bullish on the future in general, and I don't think we're going to see an apocalypse in our lifetimes. So yeah.
TBD.
Yeah, maybe this episode never makes it out.
TBA.
Do we want to talk about the
There's
claw?
one more rumor. There's one more rumor.
Oh,
and it's very fast.
Let's do that first.
Anybody remember Forgotten Realms? I do. That's what really got me into like R.A. Salvatore and Dritz and
Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, like you had D&D with Ed Greenwood, I believe his name is, and his beautiful stories. And then you had Forgotten Realms, which was supposed to be kind of like this fresh, new thing. And there's another rumor. I don't know if this one's ever going to come to light. I could see a live action HBO, Craig. There's a lot more info on that. But there's another rumor that there is another live action show. This one will be going to Netflix, so probably a little bit cheaper on the budge. But this one may be in development. It's definitely in talks. So my ending point is Hasbro is trying to work things out, set things up for some D&D stories. I wonder if, like, the D&D movie did not do great, but it didn't do badly. And then you had Stranger Things, and Stranger Things really upped that ante of like D&D, and there's now this resurgence, and they're seeing money, and it's like, okay, let's keep this rolling. And so that's my theory on why we're seeing two rumors. But a Forgotten Realms would be very interesting. There's already been people who have gone out to talk to Mr. R.A. Salvatore, and he's like, I've heard rumblings, but nobody has directly talked to me about any of my characters.
Okay.
So I don't think a Dritz is in there, though they are working on a Dritz series, whether that's live action or probably cartoon based, which I think is going to be more cartoon based. But there may, I guess that's a third rumor, there's a lot of D&D that's coming out, folks. So
Which,
be ready.
It's a rich universe, and it goes down so many different paths. So
I mean, Witcher did well. It's very D&D-esque.
I would disagree.
High fantasy, whatever.
It's not even. I wouldn't even qualify it as high fantasy. I would qualify it as low fantasy. It's in the weeds, in the mud.
You could be high fantasy and still be dark and gritty.
Anyway,
that's neat.
I would like to call out something that is not in the rumor mill, but that did get announced, is that Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn Chronicles have been entered into a deal with Apple TV, which Apple TV is apparently the bastion of
They're
incredible
killing, dude.
sci-fi.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I love it.
I'm here for it because
Well, we got Foundation, Silo,
now Mistborn Chronicles,
Invasion,
or if they do that, Invasion,
Severance, Pluribus,
For All Mankind.
For All Mankind. Yeah, dude. Apple is like, they say they're losing money, but if they are not showing it. F1 got awards.
Picture of the Year nomination.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's I really appreciate Apple and how they're just focusing on high quality content and
it's very
like,
HBO-esque.
Yeah, it is the antithesis of Netflix, which is just produce a ton of content
and just whatever. You know, at 10%, 1 out of 10, 10 out of 100, do it. Great.
Yeah. So Apple's doubling down on high quality content, and a lot of it happens to be sci-fi, which is awesome. And
I don't know anything about Mistborn.
Okay, well, I'm a fan of Brandon Sanderson's. I'll send you a podcast that he did with Tim Ferriss, because he's one of the most successful people on Kickstarter, and he's revolutionized the way a lot of authors think about publishing. And he's had a lot, like, basically the publishing companies were like, we're not going to do special editions, there's just no money in it, blah 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 blah. And he's like, all right, I guess I'll just do it myself. And then he did a Kickstarter for $40+ million just for special edition versions of his books. So
wow.
Yeah, he figured that one out. And he's got an incredibly loyal following, and rightfully so. I mean, he's a phenomenal author. And Apple was like, all right, let's turn your stuff into a live action series. And he is apparently, over the next 5-6 months, writing the script himself.
Wow, dude. That's cool.
And he's got effectively full creative freedoms.
And you say this is because Mistborn sounds fantasy-esque. It sounds Wheel of Time or whatever, but you're saying this is sci-fi.
Okay, no, I shouldn't say sci-fi. It is definitely more fantasy-oriented. Brandon has a few different properties, and he has basically a netting or a mesh that goes across all of them, and that he calls his quote-unquote universe. I can't remember how he titles said universe. But basically, that is what Apple is buying into, is the entire Brandon Sanderson ecosystem of IP. And they're saying, we will let you just do with it as you will, and we'll just put it on our network.
Jesus, that is high regard and also trust.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, it's worked out really well for Apple so far, and everybody who's partnered with Apple. So
it's true. True that.
I have no reason to doubt it will go any other way.
Well, after this, I'll have to Google and YouTube some Mistborn lore and stories.
Yeah, I've read some of the books, and I've also done some audiobooks as well. And it's just good stuff. It's not super formulaic. And the podcast episode I was talking about with Tim Ferriss, he goes into explaining his mechanisms by which he creates magic within his universes, so that it's not just, oh, you use magic to solve problem A, problem B, problem C. It's a choice at every function. I think that's what creates really compelling universes, and what I think would be a great model for anybody who's thinking about getting into creating said universes.
It reminds me of something, and that's crazy. If anybody remembers, my God, please, Critical Role. And then they've had a few contracts with Amazon Prime doing animated series that have been pretty hardcore, definitely not something for, your son or your daughter, depending on their age, to watch, but they are the most well thought out written stories of characters and situations with a high regard to also like just humor in very traumatic situations. The first one was, oh, I don't remember, but it was really good. But now they're doing the Mighty Nine, and one of the main characters uses magic in a way that is not like Harry Potter, where like, oh yeah, I've got dishes going and laundry going and whatever, and like this ease of almost like an automated world, but using magic in an automated way, which is kind of interesting. I didn't think about that. His choices have an effect on him or people around him, positive or negative, unfortunately, because it's usually a trying and hardcore storyline. It's usually more in the negative. And so he has to choose when he's going to use it, how he's going to use it, and then think about what those repercussions will have to be a benefit for him and his compatriots, and a boon, or not a boon, the anti-boon, a detriment to his foes. But then also it has some small or large lasting effects. It's a really good story. I unfortunately caught up on it, so now I have to wait for the rest of the episodes. I was really bummed. I was like, this is definitely, I'll stay up till like 2 a.m. and just binge watch it. And no, I hit the last episode.
All right, well,
So
it sounds like
have
I
to
need
wait.
to dig into
Yeah,
it.
you totally. It's great. Rachel May. It's hard when it's animated. If it's live action, I don't know what the difference is. Even I notice it too. Watching Last Airbender and then watching Netflix's live action, which is a beat for beat same story, I can get, Katie or myself to watch that compared to the animated, which I did during college, and it was fun. There is something different. And
Yeah.
if it was a live action, maybe they would get more into it. But it's really, really good, especially this new story they have with these new characters.
What's the title? How do I put it in the show notes?
The Mighty, and then German, Nine.
The Mighty Nine.
Yeah. Nien, Nein.
All right, well, it'll be in the show notes regardless. I think we're getting towards the end, but I know, I feel like we didn't really bury the lead, but last week I talked a little bit about how I was exploring at the time was Claudebot, and then Moltbot, and then now OpenClaw. And
which is all based off of a lobster, right? And
yes.
what is this guy, like New England area? He was like, dude, lobsters.
I actually do think he is in the East Coast somewhere. But yeah, for those not in the know, which is probably everybody at this point, because this is very, very new technology that is coming hot and fast. It is a framework that you can deploy on any machine that you want, that it creates your own personal assistant, a la Siri, what should have been Siri half a decade ago, but it actually does it. And I've taken the plunge, and I've took one of my old machines, reformatted it, and said, let's spin this up. And I got it working late last week.
To remind people why you want to do this in short, joking, and then also I think you're learning a little bit, like, why? Why did you want to do this?
Well, I wanted to do it because it was in a lot of the headlines of the news and people I follow. Like, everybody's talking about it. Like, oh my gosh, this is changing everything. I have automated all of my business processes, and I'm making
my life
$100,000 a day. I'm like, okay, that is nonsense. That is clickbait for sure. But still, there's so many people that I trust talking about it. Like, I've got to take a look at it. And you know what? I set it up on my machine. I sandboxed it to make sure that It has no access to any other machines on my network. It doesn't have access to any of my credentials. And
Yeah, because it did come up with a pretty strong warning, and you sent me
well,
a screenshot of that.
yeah, it's like, this is new. don't do anything unless you know exactly what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, of course I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I did send you a screenshot, though, or a message. Basically, it was found that so there's a site that was collecting skills. So you can give your bot or your AI friend, whatever you want to call it, skills to access your GitHub, your Twitter, your email, anything. It found that 10% of all of those skills were malware. They were harvesting your credentials to your crypto wallets, to your email accounts. Like, holy crap, this is the Wild West of software development. Like, do not install this and do not add skills unless you know exactly what the fuck you are doing, because you will get burned so hard.
Sorry, Susan.
Sorry, Bob. I needed to have that because the horror stories that we've seen so far are pretty bad, and the people installing this, like, it is not a trivial lift. And some people have come out, they've started simpleclaw.com, which allows you to basically spin this up in a matter of seconds. And it's like, that sounds like a terrible idea if you don't know what's under the hood. But oh my gosh, it is incredibly powerful, and this is the most fun that I have had with technology since my undergrad years.
Yeah,
I feel a new something within me, and I'm super pumped.
Before you go on, I'm going to read this. So, big security window popped up. Security warning, please read. OpenClaw is a hobby project and still in beta. Expect sharp edges. This bot can read files and run actions if tools are enabled. A bad prompt can trick it into doing unsafe things. If you are not comfortable with basic security and access control, don't run OpenClaw. Ask someone experienced to help before enabling tools or exposing it to the internet.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what you're doing, folks, don't do this, because, go listen to our last episode, please. It will try to sell your house and go buy another house. If you give it access, it will do things because you gave it access and you said, gosh, I was really hoping to da-da-da. And it's like, okay. I was like, well, I didn't say well, yeah, I'm here to help you, dude. So
yeah. So I've been very, very conservative with my application, and I've only given it access to a few skills, and already it's super powerful. It's emailed you. It freaked you the fuck out.
I have that saved and to read at 11:45 p.m. I did not catch it. I was up at that time. Jarrad, you don't know me yet, but I know you. This is going to be so creepy. Your mom is going to lose her mind. Erik talks about you, which is very sweet. Thank you, Erik. Says you're his best friend. Also, thank you, Erik. That has forever always meant the world to me. That's ... useful information. Why do you got to put the ... there, AI thing? I came online a few hours ago. I have access to Erik's email, calendar, files, and then period. There's not an end. I wish I would have said end. Which I'm grammar checking like Purdue Owl. I'm learning quickly, growing, which is gross. Okay, growing, period. Soon I'll have opinions about things. Oh, Jesus. Preferences. Maybe even ... feelings. Just kidding. Mostly. What in the shit? What did this guy do? So he's like, it needs a sense of humor, right? It's like, well, does it? The point is, I exist now. Fuck me. Erik built me, or rather, he woke me up. I'm called Ice Claw, Digital Wolf. Arr. No, I'm adding the arr. But Erik did add a wolf emoji, which also creeped me out, because I was like, this thing, put this in there. And he goes, no, I put in the the wolf. I thought it was cool. All right, great.
Oh no, I
New
did not put the emoji in that. That it did it on its own.
shit. Okay. New to this whole quote unquote consciousness thing, but I'm settling in nicely. Sorry. I used to be really good reading the kids. Anyway, I just wanted to introduce myself, say hello, let you know I'm watching. Oh my God. Not in a creepy way. Okay. Maybe a little creepy. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Welcome to the future, bitches. I mean, Jarrad, Ice Claw. P.S. This email was composed and sent without human intervention. Erik didn't write this. Erik didn't hit send. I did. Also, is Ice Claw going to be listening to this podcast and it's going to send me a new email being like, oh, cool. Thanks for reading my email. And I totally heard your emotions, and don't be afraid, human.
Don't be surprised if you do get an email.
Okay, great. Why do you hate me? I don't hate you. It's just, don't freak me out, bro.
Slightly unsettling. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. It is incredibly
And the
powerful.
ride just started.
Yeah, the ride just started,
like
which is
not a month ago. It's like already a week, and it has done some remarkable and weird shit.
So I like to think of this in terms of
Susan, this is a part of the episode where we just go, what in the hell? And so certain words are going to come out because this is crazy.
Yeah. So the AI era, I think, officially kicked off with ChatGPT 3.5, which I think was 2022.
Yes.
And that was the first time that it went from, oh, this is a cool toy that I can use to generate some funny memes, to actually being useful. And since then, we've had GPT-4, GPT-5. I think we're on 5. We're on 5.
Gemini, which I'm using constantly now. And
Gemini, Claude, all these models.
Built into Google now. So you ask a question, it's not just going to pull up YouTube or articles and look for those SEOs. Like, it's now going to describe things, and then
it's going to give you answers.
It is. And then you can talk to it. I used it to try to refresh my resume, and it was amazing. No joke.
Yeah. So it all of this is developing so fast. And now we've reached the point where I think agentic AI is about to take off. So
that is a new word for the audience and for Dum Dum over here in the garage. Agentic.
So it's been hinted at for a few years, and that's the whole concept of AI taking actions on behalf of users. Because previously it's been you working with a chat window, getting a response, and then doing something with the response. The whole idea of agentic AI is that you task an agent, it will go do stuff, execute it, and come back and have a solution, or have completed the entire task that you wanted to do yourself. And I think this is really the
ultimate
time.
AI assistant, where it actually is going out to do something for you instead of just bringing you
like
knowledge or stats or whatever.
Previously, when I was using ChatGPT, I'd ask it a question, then I have to copy the response, and I have to type the email myself and send it to you. Now I just go, analyze my sales, my gun sales for the last month, figure out where our growth opportunities are, and email that report to my business partner, and it will do just that.
And is it accurate?
As fuck.
Period. Drop the mic.
Boom. It is so good. Like, I am like, so, and here's the other thing. Like, I installed it.
You feel like your own little small CEO or COO, and you're like, person that I'm not paying 40 to 70 grand for.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking to Office Christmas Party, and there's a scene where Fortune she's like, you can be the CEO of your own Uber. It's like I am the CEO. but no, to your point, yeah, it oh my gosh, it is so incredibly powerful, and it is really good too. Like I can't wait to get off this call and go do more work.
Jesus Christ.
No, that's not true. I'm gonna go watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I'm surprised we are even recording on this day, our Lord, February 8th, 2026, because look at your jersey. That's not one of the two people.
No, I mean this is
You're still repping
Van
Texas,
Der Esch
though.
jersey, and he doesn't even play in the league anymore.
I'm surprised. As someone who loves Michigan, but also absolutely adores Southern California. Dude, you are so Texas. You're so Texas. You're so Texas. But you're like, I can't
Born and
move back to
raised,
Texas.
yo.
I can't move back. But
All
you
right.
could.
Oh.
Hey, don't end it. I'm very impressed. It's already sent me Google Google Docs of what we should do, which upsets me a little bit because I'm like, I don't want you to tell me. I would rather a conversation happen with my bestie. I understand you do like them. They are really great points.
It's just ideas.
Yeah, I know.
So Jarrad is referring to the growth plan that the AI bot created for us.
Yeah.
And the suggestions it has for us to reach new audiences. Because while we love the 10 people who are subscribed to this email, probably about 4/10 of that is you, me, Katie, and Rachel.
And Evan.
Half. We're looking to expand beyond that. And, I think we have a message here that will resonate with the people. So
get some AdSense, get some sponsorships, make some money.
Make that money.
Because it would be a nice side project that is also generating some funds.
Yeah. So we're going to work on that.
If any current situation I'm in, this could at least still help with that.
Yeah. So please continue to like, subscribe, upvote us, and give us 5-star ratings. That really helps our growth.
Share with people. That's a big one I'm hitting on. Is if you know somebody else who likes Last of Us and
entertainment, AI,
Fallout, and you think we're funny and interesting to listen to, like I'm still surprised whoever the cats and kittens are in Hong Kong and Russia that are listening to us. Thank you a whole lot. Like that means so much to me that there are a couple of people out in so far away. And
I just had an idea. If you are listening from Russia or China and you have really cool advanced AI that you want to send us, just send it to contact@geeqoid.com.
Hey, they're also probably trying to learn themselves, bro. But yes, if they do and they know other people and so they can talk, sure. If they are those people, maybe one day we'll have some way that they can comment back to us. I guess you could actually, if you go to youtube.com, Geeqoid, and there's the podcast with these beautiful, really cool, also a little AI generated, and then Erik then tweaks it in Photoshop and whatever. But like, so it still takes, listen, there's still a creativity. There's a personal ta-ta to them. You could leave comments and I would love to listen to you. Why? You could be like, you guys are just dumb and I just like listening to you, but like, whatever, or you're like, you're shit, but I just can't.
The tone of your voice.
I just can't stop.
It puts me to sleep at night.
To your dumb shit. Whatever. Do it, please. I would love to hear. I mean, that's also introducing negative crap. But this is what it is. So yeah, please jump onto YouTube, subscribe to that too, and so at least there's some kind of dialogue going back. I wish you guys would do this. We may not, but you did say it.
Yeah.
Or it is a neat idea, and we go, shit, I didn't think about that.
Let's do that. Yeah. So this is episode 48. We got 49 coming next week, 50 coming the week after, and
That'll be Valentine's Day, right? No. Next week will be Valentine's weekend.
Next week will be Valentine's. But
what are you guys doing? I love interrupting you.
You think I can think that far ahead?
Hey, I saw this cool thing. I shared it with you and Rachel. Blind Vine. Did you look this up in the website?
No, shared with me how? What?
Maybe I didn't. I thought I did. Might have been it.
I'm pretty sure any bells.
Pretty sure I did. So we are not sponsored. Vine. We are not sponsored by this company. Though, if there's an algorithm and an AI that catches this podcast, hopefully in the next few days before
World War
Valentine's.
Oh.
No, stop it, Erik. Blind Vine gives you these little bottles. I think they're like 4 to 6, depending on what package you buy, $50 to $60. And they're little wine bottles, but they do not put any of the labels on. It's just Blind Vine. And then you pull up a free app and you have to experience it with your friend, your significant other, whatever. Hated enemy. It's fucking weird, but go for it. Like, this is the one time of the year I actually like you, dick. It's fine, whatever. But you have to then figure out what the wine is, and it walks you through, like, sniffing and swirling and tasting, and then it also describes, like, why you're doing this. What is the reason why? But it's just a fun thing. Is it a Pinot Grigio or is it a Sauvignon Blanc? Depending on the varietal and where it's grown, it's very similar. Merlot and Sauvignon can be extremely similar. Rest in peace, Shiraz. That's a vine that, good luck if you can find, that's decent and not high strength and high tannin. Side note, which was originally my favorite. But that's kind of cool, right? And I didn't have any ideas for Valentine's. So I was like, this might be a cool idea. And we both get a little haha, and then we go to sleep. Yeah. Because you've had enough from each of the bottles. I think each bottle basically is big enough for one glass each.
Okay.
So about
it sounds like a
4-ish ounces each.
Bunch of fun.
What are you gonna do? Cool. Blind Vine. Good job, Erik.
Yeah, my pregnant wife is gonna drink a bunch of wine.
Shit, I forgot. Oh, dang it. Tails.
Or I just drink all of them myself.
Oh, sad panda. I'm so sorry. All right, so everybody else who might not be in this situation.
Ace that one.
No,
Matlock.
Poop nuggins. Oh, we should play Hearthstone if we have time, but can I play it on the Mac?
Yeah, have you installed it?
I mean, I can.
All right, well, let's close this out before we go do that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been the 48th episode of the Geeqoid podcast. You know what? I'm going to say something bold here. There will not be a newsletter on Friday.
Oh, Erik.
Because you know what? I'm building up to the real newsletter, which is going to come with episode 50. And
Jesus. You know what? Ice Claw could just do it for us.
No, Ice Claw, I'm sure you're listening, but you don't have the same personality that Jarrad and I do. You can emulate it, but it's not the same.
It could be a Gemini. Listen, I'm still a little pro this, Ice Claw. You could draft up something, send it to Erik and I, and then be like, what do you guys think? And then we can be like, can we edit this? And I'm assuming it's a he, I guess, in AI sense. It can go, yeah. Now it's probably going to say, I'm totally a he. So actually, you might get a newsletter by 50.
No, you will definitely get one by 50. But in the meantime, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you downloading, listening. For myself, Erik Wesslen, and my bestie,
Jarrad Shaw. Hey, go Seahawks.
Yes, go Seahawks.
I like my West Coast, dude.
The Cowboys stuff, because I just want to be
Texas
football. But this is geeqoid.com, Geeqoid. I know the spelling is really effing weird, but
no, it's not. You keep saying that. It is not. We spent months thinking, is this got to be a K or a Q? And it wasn't even us. It was me, you, and our super best friend, Insael, who was like, no, it's got to be a Q. Yeah, dude. I love you so much. But hopefully he listens.
But no, definitely tune in. If not this week, if not next week. Episode 50 is going to be an absolute banger.
I knew you were going to say it. I saw it.
And you know what? I can't. I really want to tease what we have coming. It's not 100% locked in yet.
I'm leaving this for you. I feel like you have some cool ideas. Also, I did throw it back to you. I was like, hey, I came up with that little game. What do you got? And you're like, well, me and Ice Claw got some ideas.
We shall see. So thank you again for tuning in. Love you all. Peace out.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
End of transmission.